Pastime is played on a symmetrical map. A neutral ball, called the jack, though it's easier to just call it a ball, spawns at the center. Players must take the ball and successfully score it into one of the opposing team's goals. There's goals that are like a basket hole type thing that you throw the ball into. There are end zones, like in American football, that you must carry the ball into. And there's another tall basket type of bonus goal that opens up when teams pass the ball around a bunch. My map keeps it simple by only featuring the basket type of goal. The HUD element on top shows the status of that third tall bonus goal, and I don't think it can be disabled, so unfortunately it's a pointless feature taking up space on a map like mine. Do pay attention to the bar at the bottom, since it shows the position of all players, goals, and the ball along the length of the map. It's like a simple mini-map for this game mode. The ball is visible through walls. You can see your teammates as icons through the walls at all times in Pastime. And when you carry the ball, you can also see enemies the same way. When carried by a player, the jack provides a small health regeneration to nearby teammates, a bit like a dispenser, and the ability to run as fast as the fastest running teammate in the pack, which is why it's nice to have a scout with you if you're moving together. You could even have the babyface blaster fully charged up, and everyone would move at that speed. Carrying the ball marks you for death, meaning you take mini crits, which is an additional 35% damage from all sources. A player can strike an enemy ball carrier with a melee weapon to steal the ball. He can also intercept an enemy pass or throw to take possession of the ball. In both of these cases, the player will be awarded a small speed boost and invulnerability for about 2.5 seconds. These bonuses disappear immediately though when the ball is thrown. Catching a ball from a teammate or picking up a neutral ball will give you the speed boost, but there's no bonus if you're just throwing it and picking it up over and over by yourself. Another player has to have held the ball before you to qualify you for the speed boost upon grabbing it. Note that your team cannot score on their own goal, and a neutral white ball cannot score on any goal. Only an active throw can score on the opponent's goal. Players carrying the jack are unable to use any weapons. Besides throwing or passing it, all you can do is run around with it. The jack becomes neutral when it touches the floor after being thrown, and if it lays around with no one holding it for 15 seconds, it will reset back to center. When you have the ball, you can throw it with left click. It actually throws when you release mouse 1 and not when you press it. You can hold mouse 1, which causes you to chamber up a throw, and then hitting mouse 2 will cancel the throw, a bit like how you can undraw a drawn huntsman bow as sniper. A yellow marker shows up on the walls or floor, indicating where the ball will hit after your throw. Pointing at a teammate will lock the ball onto them so that when you throw it, it will be passed and it will fly at them at a set speed like a homing missile. If you hold right click while locking onto a teammate, it will break the lock, allowing you to perform a normal throw. Releasing mouse 2 will re-engage the lock. Check your key bindings and set up a bind for what is called Special Attack or Attack 3, which is the same button that changes resistance types on the vaccinator. If you look at a teammate who's carrying the ball, it will whistle at them and highlight you on their HUD, which helps them see where you are and usually indicates that you want them to throw the ball to you. When locked on, the ball will always follow the straightest flight path between the thrower and the receiver with no regard for anything that may be in the way. If it hits something like a wall, it will bounce off, fall down, and become neutral. There's a bit of forgiveness built in with grabbing the ball, as it is magnetized into you within a certain small range. When thrown, the ball goes slightly lower than your crosshair. The bigger, stronger characters throw the ball harder and further, which makes sense. Jumping up while throwing can add to the height and distance of the throw. Most weapon fire can affect the ball and will disrupt its flight path and make it neutral. There are numerous offensive and defensive uses for this to consider. Some weapons are more versatile than others, and some even behave in uncharacteristic ways when interacting with the ball. You can not catch your own throw in the air, so it's not possible to set up your own dunks, but if you work with a teammate, you can perform some great plays. There are still ways to throw the ball forward, essentially to yourself, move up to it, and carry on. This can even be done vertically in some cases. The classes with the highest mobility are the most versatile and provide the best value in many situations. Also, some weapons can increase your mobility, but often at the cost of killing power, so some choices and compromises need to be made. Scout. He's fast, he's a good ball runner, and a good fighter. Soldier. Unparalleled mobility and good fighter. Pyro. Mostly good for defending with air blast, but does have some items that can increase mobility. Demo Man. Extreme mobility potential, but at a great health cost. Almost requires a medic to use his mobility. The Demo Knight variant can be quite good and a less heal dependent alternative. Standard Demo Man can be useful for breaking a heavy defense or defending against a pack of players clumped up together. Heavy. Mostly a defender, though he can run with a pack to keep up with other teammates. Engineer, also mostly for defense, but there are some potential creative offensive possibilities as well. Medic, depending on the map, a medic may not strictly be necessary, but then again you can't understate how impactful crossbow heals and overbuffs are. Sniper, depends on the map how viable he is, but he's always a good class if you're hitting headshots. Spy, there's always potential for game-changing plays when you're being a sneaky jerk, but he's probably not good to use all of the time in a small game. He could be good for breaking a strong defense. Also, there's potential for really cheeky plays like sitting cloaked by the enemy goal until the moment is right to catch a pass. High ground is oftentimes a good idea for a lot of reasons. When you get the ball, you usually want to start moving it towards the enemy's direction, and ideally you want to see a teammate who's already ahead of you that you can pass to. Hopefully he isn't actively fighting bad guys, because suddenly catching a ball might really mess him up. If you don't see anyone to pass it to, you could turn around and throw it back to the safety of your team. That's a decent option anytime things are looking grim. Or you might hang on to it and encourage teammates to advance past you so you could pass to them. In theory, a basic leapfrog would look like this. You pass to your friend and then go past him. He then throws it to you and goes past you, at which point you throw it back to him, and so on. A half leapfrog is similar. Your friend passes it to you and then goes to that spot where you were. You then have him hold the ball while you go to the next spot. He then passes it to you and then catches up with you at that next spot. With proper timing and some practice, this type of passing can be done very quickly and fluidly, as shown here by two soldiers. That is all just theory though. In a real game, you constantly have to alternate between fighting enemies or playing the ball. These are obviously interrelated. If you know your team is advancing the ball behind you, you can choose to engage the enemy, which ties them up and prevents them from contesting your team, and allows your team to keep moving forward. Oftentimes, you'll have to switch rapidly between fighting and playing the ball. Throwing the ball at your enemy is something you can do to momentarily disarm them, though it can give away ball possession to their team. Imagine throwing a ball at a pocket player and then attacking his medic while he's momentarily without weapons. Despite carrying the ball, you are not entirely helpless. You can throw it back to your team, or simply straight up in the air and instantly engage enemies. Hopefully this has gotten your mind turning a bit about all the possibilities of how to play this game mode. I will make more videos if there's opportunities for this game type to develop as work on my map progresses. Thank you for watching.